Hello again, it's Coach Rachel, the Long Haul Coach. Thanks for tuning in. As you see before me here on my table, I have an assortment of running gear and a nutrition product. And I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of just come on and give you a few examples of a lot of the stuff I use very, very commonly, like some, not my must-haves, but my definitely creature comforts and the why between each of these things, and figure go through it, not just to show you the obvious things runners need, things like shoes and recovery items, but kind of just to give you an overall reminder of things if you're a newer runner, of things to seek out to help enhance your running and your recovery, and to think of the whole picture of running, not just going out the door to run. So we'll start with this big thing back here. This is my R8 foam, R4 foam roller. It's by Roll Recovery. I forgot the name there. So that's a big one for me. My Roll Recovery is because of this middle section right here. You can kind of line up your spine, and it really opens up the back. So if you work an office type job or you just get a tight back, this helps loosen it up quite a bit. So definitely a must-have in my rotation. Several times a week I'm on this trying to loosen up my mid back, and it does keep everything aligned. Now to go with that, and it's kind of odd to see a lacrosse ball and a golf ball. I like the lacrosse ball for the hips and the outer glutes. I kind of will sit on the floor and cross one leg over the other and use this to massage and trigger point and get enough force down if I have a tight hip. This has been most effective for me. For rolling out my planner, particularly in the connectors areas of the planner, so the planner connects at the metatarsals and at the back of the heel, and so that runs, obviously the length of your foot between that. This I found, carefully, don't smash and cause nerve damage, but I found this helps roll the underside of my foot, and I actually like to rest my metatarsals, like my big toe joint, and in between all those up on this, and that helps loosen up a tight planner. So that's another must-have for me. And because I had surgery on my left foot a couple of years ago, my heel, so my planner does residually get tight a bit more on the left side, so it's imperative that I keep it loose. These are my workhorse shoes right now. Any easy runs I do that are not long run, that are not workout runs, I do them in. Right now I have the Asics Novablast II. That's the older model, like 2021, and then the 2021 model, Nike's Pegasus 38s, because they were cheap. And I don't need the latest shoe when it comes to just easy miles. If the previous model was working for me, you can save yourself 50%, sometimes maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, and just get the older shoe. Because if you're just logging miles, what does it matter? Draped in front of the shoe here is the Garmin 955. That's what solar model. That's what I use to record all my runs and upload them. I keep my Strava wide open if folks are interested in the training I do, and I usually link that in my description below. I do a lot of running, unfortunately, in the dark, and to see is a wonderful thing, particularly when there's a curb or a coyote, because they're around when I'm around. I have a little clip light, and it has multiple settings, and that just goes right. You can put it on a hat, but I use it on my waist. And I don't run with music, but if I'm on a treadmill I will. So this is, and I still use these. The ear pods, I'll use those too sometimes, but if I gotta run a longer distance, there's enough sweat that still just, I can't keep the earbuds in very well. So I do use these Aftershokz. And I do like to hear my feet on the treadmill a little bit too. So it's a nice blend of getting feedback from my body while also entertaining myself, because treadmills can be monotonous. So these are a godsend. And then over here, why do I have protein powder? Well, I do use that, especially in my early morning runs. A lot of those are just fasted. I literally wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I am running by like 2:12. So that's just enough time to put on my clothing, haul out the door, and get out and run, and then I immediately have to get cleaned up and get to work. So the protein comes in effective until I get some snacks, and then a little later on I eat breakfast. It's kind of odd, like timing your meals, working 4 to 4. And I'm still trying to figure out what works best for me to satisfy my early cravings, and then meter out my meals for when I can get a meal break, and making sure I get enough fuel in earlier on, like front loading calories, if you will, to make sure I'm recovering from my run. The protein is a good start. I did get a hold of this Momentous protein. It's delicious. It mixes very well. I do like that they are Informed Choice certified, and they are, very high quality. It's not cheap protein, but I do like to know that if I'm drinking 20 grams of protein, it's an actual 20 grams of protein. And there is a little bit of the science out there says there is a muscle protein synthesis window. Without getting into too much technical specs, in about 30 minutes to an hour after your workout, there is a window where you will synthesize protein just a little bit better in other parts of the day. Now, keep this in mind that is a kind of a performance end. If you're a hobby runner, meaning that you just run a little bit for fitness and your nutrition is well-rounded, that window won't really matter. As long as you're meeting caloric needs to do your activity and you are getting enough protein throughout the day in a general sense of things, then you really don't need to worry about that protein window. This is if you're running hard or fasted in that sense, a lot of mileage, or you're not going to get a hold of some protein, get yourself some protein. They do have a vegan option as well. I have the grass-fed whey. So that's why I wanted to come on and just kind of give you a medley, spread of some of the stuff that I use for my running. And anyway, thanks for tuning in. You guys take care. Until next time.